One of the concepts, one of the phrases that is used in the core principles for effective internal auditing and also for the mission of internal auditing that was developed by a task force a few years ago, and hopefully it's going to find its way into the updated global internal auditing standards when that comes out. We think by the end of this year or early in 2024, is the idea of assurance, advice, and insight. That the valued services provided by internal auditors fall into this buckets or three buckets of assurance, advice, and insight. Insight I'll leave for now. I've talked about that separately and I've written about it on my blog. But I want to examine what we mean by assurance. What is assurance? So let's imagine a little child, your little child, comes in and says, "Mommy, Daddy, I'm scared. I can't sleep because there's a monster under the bed." There's a monster under your bed? No, there isn't. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And I'm terrified. I can't sleep. He's going to get me if I fall asleep. So you go in and you have a look under the bed. Maybe you look in the closet. Maybe you look in the area where they keep their toys. Maybe there's some kind of a toy chest. Now, the idea is to provide assurance to that child so that they'll sleep. And you've got two different forms. The typical internal auditor would say, "I looked under the bed, I looked in the closet, and I didn't see anything." That's called negative assurance. I didn't see anything. The child will come back and say, "Well, that's because you aren't looking very well." Or that's because these are very clever monsters. They even have the ability to become invisible. And as soon as you leave and I get it back into my bed, that monster's going to show up again and I'm scared. That's negative assurance. Positive assurance is when the auditor says, "We've had a look and I can tell you that based on that, there is no monster under your bed. There is no monster for you to be afraid of that's going to come and get you. And it's not in the closet either." That is positive assurance. Now, some internal auditors are reluctant to do that because they think that there's always a chance to get it wrong. And that's where the concept of reasonable assurance comes in. If we have a reasonable basis for providing positive assurance, that's huge value. Reasonable. Because you can't provide a guarantee, a total 100% money back guarantee that you miss something in an audit. There's no 100% assurance. There's no 100% certainty. And also internal controls will fail from time to time simply because of human fallibility. So positive assurance, reasonable positive assurance, has tremendous value. So let me tell you, when I was the head of internal audit, vice president of internal audit at the Tosco Corporation, which was the first time that I had that role some time ago, I asked the chair of the audit committee, my annual performance, I need to know, how am I doing? In your opinion, you're my customer. The only way I'll know whether I'm doing a quality job is to know how you feel. And he said, "You help us sleep through the night." Just like that little child. "You help us sleep through the night because we know that you are looking at all of the more significant risks to our organization, to its objectives, to its success. You are providing us assurance that we can rely upon the people, the processes, the systems, the organization, the controls, the culture to work as they should so that we can achieve our objectives." Now, it's not perfect assurance. You can't provide 100% guarantees that we'll reach our objectives because things happen. The economy shifts, customers go out of business, prices get hiked by suppliers and so on. So there's only certain amount of things that are under our control. But the idea is that if we can provide assurance to our customers on the board and executive management that the controls and other aspects of the organization that they are relying upon are in place, are effectively and properly designed, and are being executed as they should, there's huge value. And that's why assurance is our number one valued service. It's our product, giving people comfort that there's no monsters under the bed that is going to come and bite them in the proverbial, especially when they're sleeping, especially because they want to be able to assume that everything is working properly, and our ability to provide assurance on what matters to the achievement of what matters has tremendous value. That's why assurance and our advice when we see something that could be done better has value, because we come in from a different perspective, also objective and independent, so we don't have the same biases. We don't have the same experiences, life experiences and business experiences. So our advice can be enormously valuable. And then, of course, that whole area of insight. So that's what assurance is all about. And what we need to be doing is looking at our audit plan, looking at our communication with the executives, with the board of directors and the audit and risk committees and so on. Say, are we providing them with the assurance they need, that they can rely upon the business to perform as it's supposed to perform, that the controls are adequate to address the more serious risks, the more significant risks to the organization and its success. So that's assurance. I hope that's useful to you. There's a huge difference between providing assurance and telling the board, well, we had a look, we didn't see anything. That's really not particularly good assurance. Let's provide positive assurance. Let's take that little bit of a risk. As long as we've done a reasonably good quality job, we're doing what we should. Thank you.